All right, we are back again on a Friday. It's turning into a ritual to just keep pushing this to the end of the week, but we're back on a Friday again. Week 5 recap, week 6 look ahead on a spooky Friday, Friday the 13th in October. No spooky theme though, unless you're talking about some teams in our league.
Or
Then it's very
the spooky
spooky.
theme is looking at your team and going, "Ah, my team is bad."
So we've
Scary.
got our week 5 recap. We've got our weekend update with an influence from producer Drew Nallman on some of the jokes. Our week 5 power rankings, our Stone Cold locks of the century of the week, where I am running away with it.
You know, my problem is picking this against or with the spread. Last week I had two 15 plus underdog spreads that I thought could cover, and that is just not happening. So I don't think that works. If anybody else bets on fantasy football league game lines, don't do that. Just my recommendation.
Pick favorites. Just pick
Yeah.
favorites. All right. So our week 5 recap. I've got some winners in the league. We've got Nathan continues to be a winner. He doesn't lose. He's just a force in the league. His team got better this week. I mean, what's left there to say? I literally flew out to Washington to bask in his presence to try and gain some of his great fantasy football juju, and I hope it's worn off on me.
He's untouchable at this point.
Yeah, might be the greatest season ever put together. I think he's going to go undefeated.
He'll be the
Patriots,
prediction. Undefeated in the regular season, and then he'll lose in the playoffs.
And it'll probably be against the worst team in the playoffs. Another winner, Tom. The Cincinnati Bengals finally decided to be good. Ja'Marr Chase, leading wide receiver for the week. Even with DJ Moore having an insane game, Ja'Marr Chase, I think, was even better. So there you go, Tom. It finally paid off. Maybe a little bit too late, but you're back in it. And then had to throw the winner to Sam. First one
just
of the year.
We predicted.
Oh yeah, we both bet on him. Sam's in. He's in the plus column for the wins. Man, what a week for him. Maybe this is the turnaround. Losers of the week. Me again.
Begin the rebuild. You need a hashtag for your rebuild. Is it trust the process? Is it suck for luck? I don't know what's your motto for this rebuild?
Trade away all the players that I overpaid for in our draft for cheap players so that I could have keepers next year. My zero keeper strategy is not working. And I ended up paying for the wrong players when I could have just kept good players if I was actually good at drafting. Trying to make some changes on there. Apparently, I'm the only person that knows how trading works in our league. So I threw out some trades, made some moves. Tyreek Hill, I announced on Sunday afternoon he was available. Nobody responded to that except Sam jokingly. Wes offered me a package around a hurt Travis Kelce, which I thought was pretty offensive. And finally made a deal with the guy in our league that has so many good players, he is unable to start them all. So Nathan was gracious enough to give me some of his extra guys in return for the best player in fantasy football. Also had to make a move for Tua because Anthony Richardson is hurt again. And Jahmyr Gibbs is off my team. Jahmyr Gibbs, though, I'm going to say it's a great trade for the league because Libby now has the best fantasy football team name. The Jahmyr Gibbs Talk Show. Barry Gibbs Talk Show is one of the sneaky worst / best SNL skits ever. And now Libby, and whenever I see that skit, I think of Libby. And now he has the perfect team name and the player on the team.
I was wondering why Libby made the trade in the first place, but now I understand why. He did it just so that he could change his team name.
Yeah, and I think he felt bad for me too. And he gets the Montgomery handcuff if Jahmyr Gibbs actually ever plays. Stefan, another loser. He's down there with me. It's rough. It's rough stuff. Stefan, I feel your pain. What are you going to do? Tim, you had also one of the worst weeks of your year, and you lost Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, it's last year I had the Vikings were good, and my fantasy team was bad, but now the Vikings are bad and my fantasy team is bad and everything is bad.
So because you're our Vikings insider, KJ Osborne, will he be good?
No. KJ Osborne is going to stay exactly how he is and kind of be tough to predict. I think Jordan Addison's the one that you want. If I had to give you my Vikings scoopage. And if you really want, if you want a dark horse pick, the Vikings brought up N'Keal Harry from their practice squad.
Oh, all right.
Maybe if you're just looking for a shot in the dark, you pick up N'Keal Harry and see if Kirk Cousins likes a big body target. Who knows? Former first round pick.
Yeah, and TJ Hawkinson probably.
Him too. Yeah.
Gets all the touchdowns still. Best performances of the week, player wise, DJ Moore, crazy game. We've already talked about Jamar Chase. DJ Moore caused me to concede the victory to Seth after the Thursday night game. He would have won anyway because I only scored 68 points, which was only 20 more than DJ Moore had himself. Our weekly pick of the Saints defense and special teams. Congratulations for having them on your team.
Great insight. How did you know that they would score a touchdown and 22 points? You must be reading some like fantasy projection thing on the dark web to know these things, but you did it. Good job.
Patriots were the worst team in the league. A guy we haven't talked about enough, but we do talk about Ross and his just fortunate ability to find the best player that nobody else wanted. Zach Moss. Is he the best running back in fantasy football? Maybe.
Even on a week when Jonathan Taylor comes back and you think, oh yeah, Zach Moss isn't going to do anything anymore. Nope. Still good.
Breece Hall carrying the Jets on his back, 28 points. I saw the Jets score because I was not watching the game, obviously. And I'm like, oh man, Zach Wilson got him to 31 points. That's amazing. I looked at Zach Wilson's stat line. He threw for like 170 yards, one touchdown, one interception. I was like, how did they win? It was Breece Hall.
He did a lot of this.
Yes.
Just hand it off. Really good at doing that.
Zach Wilson's still bad.
Breece Hall could have been my keeper. Decided that I guess $35 was not worth it, but that's a regret that I have.
Yeah. Worst performance. Some guy I started named Gary Brightwell.
I do think it was funny that you picked up and dropped a San Francisco running back with Jordan Mason. I think you picked him up and dropped him within minutes, and he had a really great day. He could have been good for you. So you like reverse jinxed him by picking him up and then dropping him.
Well, somebody pick up Gary Brightwell. Maybe he'll have a good week this week. I also started Aaron Jones because I had no idea what to do when he was listed as out. So I had two players on my team score 0 points. I was also bowling because I'm an active person and do fun things during the evening and don't just watch football games and pay attention to my fantasy football league.
Must be nice.
I had no idea that Aaron Jones was even out until I started watching the game at the bowling alley. Washington Commanders defense and special teams. So we're just going down the list of players and teams that I started. -5 points.
I would love to see in the free agency when you pick a defense to see them projected for negative points, because I feel like that should start happening. Instead of every defense being projected for like 6 points, we need to start projecting them for like 20 points or -10 points to be more realistic.
Justin Jefferson, he only had 4 points. He also got injured. So that's man. Over. And then James Conner finally had a bad week. Also led to Stefan not having his best week.
And he's injured now, I think.
Is he? Oh yeah, he is, because the backup, the third string Arizona running back, went for like $23 to whoever picked him up. And then reports were on Wednesday that he might not even be starting. So congratulations. You also
gotta love fantasy football.
He also got, like me, the Browns running back that may or may not start. Those are, I mean, I struggled to find a lot of bad performances, and that's about all we had there. I was going to ask you one more thing, but now I can't think of it. So I guess we're going into.
Well, hang on. I got one quick thing that I just the thing that I noticed. So Seth's team is good. Like he's got a good team, but I was looking at his lineup and he's got terrible running backs. I don't know if you've seen this, but like I think last week his running back scored him a combined 7 points, and the only running back he has on his bench is Dalvin Cook, and yet he's still winning. That's one that I can't figure out, but.
Is he what up with Dak? Yeah. So he's got Miles Sanders and Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson, a player that James in a different league would not trade to me for AJ Brown because of how good he was 2 weeks ago. That's a whole other story. But
I guess
DJ Moore scoring 48 points.
Yeah, Seth has found the formula to not need running backs on a team, because they're like a hard position to have, and his solution is just to have Stephon Diggs and DJ Moore and Lamar Jackson score him like 100 points on their own, and Cooper Kupp. Yeah. So
and Seth, Mark Andrews, who's the only other good tight end besides Kelsey. Well, and
Seth does not need running backs. That was the point that I'm trying to make. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's the other alternate route to either having such good wide receivers and quarterbacks that it makes up for not having any value running backs at all. All right, into weekend update, which I have followed Drew's advice that we should write more about the league so that you guys actually watch it. But if you want to skip it, just skip it anyway, and we'll get to the power rankings after.
Yes, weekend update.
Okay, Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison will be taking on a lead role in the offense after Justin Jefferson's hamstring injury landed him on the IR. Reports from practice are promising, and when Addison was asked how he's handling all the extra pressure this week, he replied, "Full speed ahead, all gas, no brakes."
Nice.
Obvious joke, but had to be done.
Sam's team, Cock in a Box, finally broke their winless streak with a 130 to 86 point victory over Stefan's team last week, led by strong performances from Travis Etienne and Brock Purdy. This is the first time that a pigeon-toed man and a Mr. Irrelevant have led a team to victory since Forrest Gump and Bubba led a successful charge in the war in Vietnam.
Okay. The New York Jets vowing to be ready for the tush push, the infamous unbeatable QB sneak play used frequently by the Philadelphia Eagles. The Jets know exactly how they will respond if the Eagles try the formation Sunday at MetLife Stadium. The plan, in fact, involves a covert operation by a certain injured Jets quarterback who plans to slow down the Eagles' offensive players with a chill pre-game hang, otherwise known as the Cush Push.
Nice. I mean, I don't know how you keep writing Aaron Rodgers jokes, but you keep doing it.
I found a way.
All right, to global news, getting away from the NFL for a second. On this date in 1775, the Continental Congress green-lighted the first U.S. naval force, making this Friday, today, the Navy's 248th birthday. Happy birthday to the Navy. 2023 also celebrates the 248th year that Libya has allowed Lucas to have Derrick Henry as a keeper.
You made it about the league. I wasn't sure how you were going to do it, but you found a way. Okay, my last one is league specific. Investigative reporting in our fantasy league's recent activity has shown that general manager Wesley Franson, team name Shy Ridley, has strangely marked 9 players on his team as, quote, likely to trade. Franson was unreachable for comment on this matter, leading us to assume that this activity is a cry for help. To save Wes from the punching, the massages, and the online betting, please send him bad trade offers and your favorite Taylor Swift lyrics.
Nice. Wes is just an absolute joy behind the scenes to deal with. So I have been very hard on AJ Dillon, and it was only right after dropping him and him having a decent week on the waiver wire that I issue an apology. I've said terrible things about him. I need to apologize. So I asked former NFL player Steve Smith to write an apology for me for AJ Dillon. Here's the apology as written. I'm sorry that I said you were a jag, just a guy who was an average running back that I bid salary cap dollars on every year in our drafts. I hope next week you actually show up again in a way that you haven't shown up in the last couple of years since I drafted you. So if you ever got a problem with the glass man, I'm sorry for saying that you are an average running back that I will eventually move on from. When teams call me to ask if they should trade for you, I will say no, don't trade for AJ Dillon because he is mentally unable to handle constructive criticism of from his fantasy owner, and I've already dropped him. He's tier 3.
Thank you, Steve Smith.
That's
well
me.
crafted. You do owe AJ Dillon an apology, but he probably owes you an apology, to be fair.
Did you see that Steve Smith?
I don't think that I did.
Jerry Jeudy.
That's what okay. I don't think I read the actual transcript.
He was doing the Broncos game last night, and he said that exact same thing about Jerry Jeudy because he was going to actually apologize to Jerry Jeudy for saying that he was just a guy on his podcast. And then had this whole rant where he said exactly what I said about AJ Dillon about Jerry Jeudy. And it was very funny. Steve Smith is still talking trash, even
legendary.
Even back. Yeah, I love Steve Smith. He's so awesome. Now to our most powerful power rankings. Week 5 into week 6 edition. Finally in my rightful place at the bottom. So we've got Luke, Stefan, Tim, and Sam giving us our bottom 4. Our middling group of Tom, Lucas, Drew, and Seth, all right there in the middle. Tom making his push to the top. Sam finally getting his first win so that we can push him out of that bottom 3. Our 4, Libby. Ross.
Outside of the top 3 again.
Yeah. Ross drops to 3. We've got a new 2-man, Wes Franson. Mr. Travis Kelce is the best player in fantasy football, so I should be able to trade him straight up for Tyreek Hill. And Luke should also give me his starting tight end to replace Travis Kelce at number 2. And then the man that can't be beaten, Nathan, at the top spot. Once again, no matter what we do, we can't break him down. I have now gone to the length of trading the best player in fantasy football to him to try and bring him down.
He also has the pleasure of playing me this week, so you can pencil that win in right now.
Lock it in. Speaking of locking it in, our Stone Cold Locks of the Century of the Week.
Ooh.
I did not lock that in. But I did lock in Sam winning again, minus 5.3 points. I think he's on a tear. I think it's his time. Like Tim said, I'm picking all favorites because
that's kind of the way to do it.
Win. If you're projected to win, you're going to win. I took Seth minus 60 billion points, and he still beat me. I've also got Drew minus 7.6, rolling with my Drewster, and then the two-man Wes Franson minus 4.3 points. Lock it in. All favorites, 9-6 record, all the way to the top, baby.
You found a way. I think it's hard to argue with those. I'm also taking Sam just to run with the hype. I did pick one underdog, Libby, at plus 7.5. I looked at that yesterday. He's playing Ross, and I kind of just wanted that to be a close matchup. Now that I am looking at the scores from last night, the Kansas City defense scored 16 points because that's what defenses do. They either score a lot or a little. So we'll see if that actually ends up being close. But Libby, I would hope you can at least keep it 7 points close. And then just a great formula is to pick against myself. Nathan is minus 18.5 favorite against me, and it's probably going to be that and a lot more. So an easy win. I should at least get that one right.
How much is Nathan projected for? Are you projected for like no points?
He's projected for 116. Or no, hang on. I'm looking at the wrong score. No, he's projected for 119, and I'm not even projected for over 100. So
yeah,
it's over.
It's tough. It's a harsh world out there now that the teams have separated and the good guys are way better than the bad guys.
We've got some clear good guys and some clear bad guys.
Yeah. I would like to look back into the history. I don't think they have the stats, but I have 430 points for this year, which is like 30 points less than the next. It's like 30 or 40 points less than the next closest. So even if I can scrape my way back to the 8th seed, I'm going to lose on points for almost for sure. I was talking to Tim this week, and I said that I am the replacement for Crayons not being in our league this year, where I have clearly the worst team with one of the best fantasy football players on my team just stuck on it. So Tyreek Hill, in the past, Crayons always had Josh Allen just quarterbacking his lame team over and over again. So I've tried to buck that trend. I've tried to get away from the Crayons stink of, being one of the worst fantasy leagues and got rid of that said player. So I'm hoping the juju works my way. I can get off the schneid, stop being the 12-man. We're making moves. We're moving things.
By doing that, though, that means that somebody else is going to have to fill that role. So who's it going to be? It can't be me because I don't actually have a number. I don't have any good players anymore. They're injured.
Does Stefan have a good player?
I was looking at Stefan's points against, and he is at 660 points against. And the next closest person is Drew at 580. So Stefan is not drawing any good matchups.
Stefan is Austin Eckler. That would be his good player on a bad team. Although Eckler hasn't played for 2 weeks now, maybe just 1 week. But he would be the other one. I mean, if Sam continues to lose, he's got like 3 good players. He has 4 good players on his team. Sam not being a better team just kind of breaks my brain. Tony Pollard hasn't been as good as he was supposed to be. But he has Pollard, Etienne, CeeDee Lamb, Puka.
You're
Brock
right. He's
Purdy's
got
like a top 5 quarterback.
he's got some good players in there, and like the Puka is like the very stereotypical Sam adds, like the trendy guy on his league or in the league. But yeah, I don't know why he's not winning more. I guess we'll figure that out.
I'm gonna keep betting on him. Hopefully he keeps winning and we can keep boosting that up. I'm trying to think, did we not mention one of the teams? Lucas rejected. Oh, listen to this trade that he rejected and tell me if it was completely out of bounds, because Lucas rejected it in like 1 minute after I sent it. Aaron Jones for Jonathan Taylor, straight up.
Oh, I mean, if it were me in either position, I'd have to think about it at least. But
I think the Jonathan Taylor getting him for like $11.
Yeah, it's probably the keeper aspect of it.
That may be the only reason why I was willing to offer that trade up in the first place, so that I could keep Kamara and Jonathan Taylor next year.
I think he smelled that out, which was probably smart. Not factoring in the keeper part of it, I think that's an intriguing trade.
Yeah. So I will be just sending Godfather offers to him where it's going to be half of my good players for Jonathan Taylor, and we'll see if he eventually takes one.
Speaking of Lucas's team, love to see Adam Thielen, the 10th ranked wide receiver, in his lineup. I don't know how that guy is still catching footballs. Did you know that he went to, I'm not going to do that, but that's crazy that Adam Thielen is still good.
He's from Spokane. Who else haven't we talked about? I think we hit everybody. So everyone should feel good. We talked about you. If not, just mentioned you in the power rankings. Hopefully you appreciated the weekend updates. And if you didn't and skipped it, then hopefully you're still listening now and go back and listen to it. But also we're going to keep doing it because we don't care.
A great letter from Libby and Ross too. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention at the top of the show, that I love that letter so much. It was so fun to revisit some of those SNL skits. Forte is just unbelievable. The Halloween trick or treat with John Hamm, I was like rolling on the floor. I hadn't seen that one in a long time, and I forgot how good that was. It's so funny.
They did a good job too. I remember when I picked a Weird Al song for each team, and that was really difficult. So I got how difficult the task was, but I think both of them together did a pretty good job. Yeah,
absolutely incredible letter. You guys appreciate the content on that side of it. I threw my one adjustment to what I thought my video could have been. Did you have another thought for your team?
No, I mean, other than being a Debbie Downer, that's probably the only, that's not, it's more of a recurring bit, but my team is definitely a Debbie Downer.
Yeah. All right. Great week. We got a good week to look ahead to. A lot of intrigue at the top, a lot of just terrible teams at the bottom that will be battling it out for that 8th spot if it's still even there. But we only got one thing left to say about this week, and that is
football. Spooky football. Friday the 13th.
Too scary football. Good job by you.